Hi, my name is Chikoro, and today I want to talk about porosity, porous hair and non-porous hair, and I'll go ahead and talk about what I know about it. Before you start, I think one thing you may want to do is jump in the shower and wet your hair and have someone come and take a picture of the water dripping off your hair. If in the picture you see water beading off like water sits on a waxed car, your hair is probably non-porous or low porosity. If you don't see any beading on your hair and the water just runs off or spreads very easily on your hair is probably high porosity or porous. Let me go ahead and give you some definitions. Porosity or porous. The definition of porosity is void, a material that has an emptiness or a space. So in the case of hair, it's probably where the chemical composition of the hair structure has been changed and pieces are missing, the chemistry has changed, and the hair is damaged. Hair that tends to be low porosity tends to be hair that is natural and undamaged. And that is hair that has not been chemically changed. For example, hair that has been relaxed, hair that has been permed, hair that has been colored, hair that has been bleached. All of this type of processing changes the chemical structure of the hair strand, and it also destroys and damages the hair structure. So in technical terms, hair that is damaged is hair that has been chemically changed. Hair that tends to not be damaged is natural hair, virgin hair that has not undergone any chemical processing. Next definition, hydrophobic. Hair that is healthy and not damaged and that tends to be non-porous or low porosity hair is hydrophobic. And that simply means that on the surface of the material, the hair, that there is a blocking of water. So hydro, of course, is water, phobic is fear of water. That's the literal translation, but basically the hair repels moisture because the structure is intact. So natural hair tends to be hydrophobic, whereas damaged hair tends to be hydrophilic. And that means it loves water, it accepts water, it does not repel water the way that something that is hydrophobic does. So unfortunately, hair that is damaged tends to be hydrophilic, and hair that is undamaged tends to be hydrophobic. The other thing is that hair that tends to be damaged tends to have more of a negative charge. Hair that is not damaged tends to have less of a negative charge. Well, why is that? On the undamaged hair strand, the hair strand with the structure in place, the medulla, the cortex, and the cuticle all in place, that hair also tends to have a lipid layer on top. A lipid layer that is intact, a proteinous oil layer at the top of the hair strand. Whereas hair that is damaged tends to have less of the lipid in place, less of the lipid components in place. And so therefore the lipid components tend to help balance out that charge a bit. So when hair does not have that lipid component, when it has been stripped from the hair somewhat, not totally, the hair tends to have more of a negative charge. And again, that is because the hair structure has been changed at a chemical level. Now, cohesion. Cohesion is a term, and what that is in terms of hair and porosity is, think of a water drop. Now, I don't know if any of you wax your cars. I can't stand waxing my car, but if you have a car and you wax it and you put water on it, you'll notice that water beads up. And what you're witnessing is cohesion. And the power or the strength of the tension or the connectivity of the water molecules is stronger than that of the surface of the car. So the water beads up. And water likes other water molecules, so they come together. Adhesion is when water or when a liquid spreads out on a surface. So, when your hair is less porous and it's hydrophobic and it's not damaged and it has a lesser charge, there tends to be cohesion and your hair tends to have droplets in it as opposed to having the water spread out. When your hair is experiencing adhesion, the moisture on your hair tends to spread out evenly. Your hair tends to be hydrophilic. Your hair tends to have more of a negative charge, and your hair tends to probably be more in a damaged state. For hair that tends to be low porosity or hair that is non-porous, one thing I do not recommend is using a cationic surfactant and dimethicone. And very quickly, a cationic surfactant is simply a chemical in a conditioner with a positive charge that will stick to your hair. And that one of them is bihydramonium chloride plus dimethicone or plus amyl dimethicone. These types of products have an affinity for non-porous, low porosity, undamaged hair, and they stick right to the root and over the hair, more so to the root of the hair, and they leave the hair feeling coated and dryish and brittle, and the hair does not feel like it did when it was before the product was applied. I think in general the bihydramonium chloride is fine, but when it's combined with a dimethicone, a lot of times it coats hair that is not damaged, virgin hair, natural hair, low porosity hair, hair that is non-porous, and it leaves the hair feeling in a way that it doesn't feel like it's natural. And it's not because the hair is coated. The great thing though about applying that and having that experience is that it will wear off over time. It will wash out. So please don't cut your hair or do something drastic if you use a product and it feels that way on your natural hair. But if your hair is hydrophilic, if your hair is high porosity, if your hair is porous, if your hair is damaged, if you have hair that's bleached, hair that's relaxed, hair that's permed, hair that's colored, this type of hair does need something like bihydramonium chloride plus some type of dimethicone. And although the strange thing is that that type of product sticks more to non-porous hair, you do need it for hair that is highly porous or high porosity hair. So I would recommend a product like that. And again, you're going to look for these things that are conditioners with bihydramonium chloride plus dimethicone or amyl dimethicone, and look for it at the very top of the ingredient label. And that will be for hair that is very porous, that has high porosity. And lastly, I would like to say, I hope that you all continue to beautify yourselves and the world around you bit by bit. Have a good day, and thank you again. Until next time, goodbye.